number 10 solo, we'll come back to that. But let's finish this one off first, right? So I've gone from there and I've deflected upwards. What I'm then going to do is, now that this prop is in place, this one's going to come underneath it. Right? That from there to there. You then push forwards, push his arm diagonally across, so you disrupt his posture. At the same time, throw your kidney shot. So you've got 1, 2. That's a photograph as it appears. Now this is an interesting one for this, because me and Ali are about the same height, right? So when I do this, and most of the people I train with are a bit taller than me. So when I do it, this arm position to me looks like an agyuki. Is that okay? When my taller students do it, they do the same thing, but because they're taller, it ends up looking like that. So when I do the kata version, I do this. Some of my taller students do that, which makes perfect sense to me, because that's how the movement appears to them. But you can imagine the arguments will be in 100 years' time. Yeah, should it be this or that? Depends how tall you are. And you get the same thing, you know, like Kosoken, Kankudai, Kashankyu. You know, you think of Shotokan, arms up here. This way, arms up here. Whereas in Shito-Ryu, it's there. You know, which one's right? Well, Mabuni was a lot taller than Funakoshi. So this is the short guy's version of the kata. And that's the normal height guy's version of the kata. Is it okay? So there'll be little variations that will appear that, you know, people argue which one's right. Well, which way are you doing it most often? Based on how are you below or above the average height of the community that you're part of. You know, I mean, you know, it's all relative, right? They talk about Matsumura. He was a giant of a man, 5'6". You know, a giant of a man for the people of that time. It's okay. So from here again, directing that arm up, pop, and then from there to here. So at first, I would suggest you do it in 2 stages. 1, move it in. Okay, so 1, prep, 2. When you've got the hang of it, you'll start to flow a lot more. Is that okay? You'll just blitz straight in on it. Is that okay? Is that okay to give that one a go? So again, it's a common sparring position from them, and this is a defensive example. You know, like, until he gets out of this, because I've tilted him. So I want to keep this pressure here. So when I move this arm to there, I'm going to push through him that way. Is that okay? So without that other arm, that's what I'm looking. See how these now, there's no way you can hit me with that backhand, because his own body's in the way. Right, so it's not like number 4. I don't get to here and then go around, which would be okay, but that's not what we're doing. When I'm there, I'm sliding forwards. Right? There, from here. That makes sense? You know, so I'm disrupting his posture on that one. And just like Ali did at the end, you know, you do it right, and depending on the relative height and weight, your partner often staggers off on that one. Because they end up going up, and they just get turned and moved around. So I'm okay to give it one last go, but think of straight forwards. Right? You twist him and then straight in. Try and walk through number 10 solo, and then we'll do number 11, and I'll tell you about the debate I had on number 11. So, you here, lean and strike. All of that happens at once. A lean block and hit all at the same time. From there, I like to drop my stance a little bit on that one as well, right? So, having done that, I then catch his arm and move forwards for a back fist. That's more like, you know, Gion-esque. I have a slight back bend in the back leg because that's what Motobu wanted. And then I hit with an elbow, and for the aesthetics of it, I do it the same way I did number 3. Is that okay? So left foot forwards, strike, strike, strike. Is that okay? That will be number 10, similar to number 3 on that final strike. Okay, have a little go at that one. Again, don't worry if you don't get it, just give it a shot. Right, so it's similar to number 4, right? My arm's there, and then, you know, that happens, and then that happens. I thought there's a lot going on there, you know what I mean? So maybe this should be one I should slow down, you know, so they can see the totality of the movement when I do it. And I decided not to slow it down because I think it feels really cool to do it fast. Right. So, you know, I just thought, no, I get it. Just feels very satisfying. And there's an argument, yes, do it that way, because people need to understand how explosive and quick it is. But the argument for slowing it down would be, they'll get all the detail. Where if they do it quickly, you know, they might just miss bits and it becomes this. You know what I mean? So I personally decided I am going to do that bit quick. But if somebody went, no, not for me, Ian, I'm doing that really slow, so I'm up all the detail out, that would be perfectly logical. Is that okay? So you choose whichever one you want to do. But the reason I do it fast when I do the kata is I like the way it feels. Right? And again, that may have happened. It may also explain why in some versions of the kata movement's slow and in other styles it's quick. You know, depending on what their objectives were. So arms are already in contact. I deflect that arm up as I push it up, just like you did. Take this arm underneath, just like you did. And then there's a push forwards as a strike. The taller people may be like this, the shorter people may be like that. If you're okay with it, you can do the whole thing a little bit faster. Is okay, right foot forwards on that one. Just give it a quick go and then we'll do number 12, which is really hard and I'll take it H around. Yeah. Right, he grabs hold of his hand. That's a smart thing to do, right? So if the grip starts to break, I know it's breaking. As I'm standing now, Ali might be able to lift me. But if I step forwards into Zen Kutadachi, he's not going to be able to. Is that okay? Because my centre of gravity's moved forwards. So if we can just swap positions for 1 second, just so I can show that. Right, so forget about the arms, I just want to illustrate the lifting. If I want to lift anything, I need his centre of gravity near mine. Right, so if I'm there, I can lift him up. Right, if Ali takes a step forwards from there, I now can't lift him unless I change my line. Is that okay? So because I need to be, my centre of gravity needs to be next to his. So there is a little bit of skill. He's monitoring the hands and he's moving his centre of gravity away to give him stability and space. He then reaches in and squeezes the groin, and that's it. Is that okay? So I first got a copy of his book in the 1980s because they said, we're making 2,000 copies of these and that's all we'll ever do, and it's in hardback and each one comes with a certificate and it's £80 in 1980s money, so God knows how much now. I thought I need a copy of that book. So I get that book and then they went, we never said anything about paperbacks. So you can buy it for a tenner now. So I also, one of my kids was really young, spilled yogurt on it. Because I left it unguarded in the room. You know, come back in and there's yogurt all over the book. You know, it's not their fault, it's my fault for leaving it. So I also have the world's only scratch and sniff version of that book. Every time you open it, there's that smell of fake strawberries. But anyhow, so Ali gets his grip as best he can. I grab from there, I step forwards, I reach back and squeeze. Right? In the version of the book I had, the pictures weren't of high quality. So they're drawn onto them to make them look a bit clearer. The way they've drawn Motobu's eyes, it looks like he's looking straight down the lens of the camera. It's one of the most creepy photographs you've ever seen. Like, yeah, it's just kind of like, do you see what I'm doing? It's like staring into the heart of your soul while he's got a man's testicles in his hand. It's a weird picture. In the actual photograph, it's, you know, when they haven't tried to draw his eyes in, it looks a bit more, less psychotic, shall we say. But that's all that one is. He bear hugs, you pin the hand. Again, he could step forwards with either foot, but Motobu steps forwards with his right foot. Steps forwards with the right, reach back from there, squeeze. Is that okay? Yeah, let's try it. Really hard technical technique, right?